Hello viewers, welcome to the digital class of Udainath Autonomous College of Science and Technology. So viewers, today's class will be all about the second part of function, that is function accepting the values but not returning the values. That means in the previous class we have already discussed function not accepting and not returning any values, but in today's video we will be discussing about function accepting the values but not returning the value. So what is that? The function is accepting the value but not returning the value. So in our previous class we have already discussed functions. The first category is function not accepting and returning values. So in this case we are just calling a function. That means let us say we have a main function and we call a sum function over here. So whenever we are just writing the sum function over here, so it will be redirected to the sum function, and whatever code has been written inside the sum function, it will be executed. So in this case we are not sending any value, the function is not accepting any value, and the function is not also returning any value to the calling function. So here main function is the calling function and sum function is the called function. So whenever the called function is not returning any value to the calling function, so we call it as the functions not accepting or returning values. That means sum function will not at all accept any value and it will not at all return any value. But today's video will be all about functions accepting the values but not returning values. That means this function will accept a value, but the value or the calculated value will not be returned to the main function. So how is it possible? So here you can see that whenever we are calling a function, let's say we have a main function and we are calling a function, let's say I am calling sum function. But whenever I am calling the sum function, let's say I am passing two values, let's say 2, 3. So I am sending two values, that is 2 and 3. So whenever I am calling a sum function with some values, so the sum function will have to accept the value, that is 2 and 3. So as we know that 2 is an integer value and 3 is an integer value, so we need two variables at the sum side in order to receive these two values. So the first value, let's say I will write int a comma int b. So this is the syntax of writing the function. That means whenever function will accept a value, it will be in the form of this format. That means whatever value we are passing, it will have the same data type as the value that is being transferred. So it will also be in the same sequence that will be received by the function. So int a, that means a will hold the value 2 and b will hold the value 3. Now we can calculate anything inside the sum function. Let's say c equal to a plus b, and we can print it. Let's say printf %d c. So you can see the example over here. So previously we are just calling the sum function and the sum function is being called, and whatever code was written inside the sum function, it was getting executed. But here in this case we are calling the sum function, but we are actually sending the values to the sum function, and these value will be received by the two variables at the sum function, that is a and b. Similarly, a will hold the value 2 because the first value that is being sent will be stored in the first variable. So a will hold the value 2 and b will hold the second value, that is 3. Now we have taken another variable, that is c. So c equal to a plus b. So what is the value of a and b? So the value of a is 2 and the value of b is 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5 and it will be stored in c. So c will have the value as 5. Now it will print the value of c. So what is the value of c over here? That is 5. So it will print the value or output as 5. So here you can clearly differentiate between functions not accepting and not returning values and functions accepting the values but not returning. So here you can see that whatever calculations were done, it is done in the sum function, and the calling function is not accepting any value from the called function. So here sum function is the called function is not returning any value to the calling function. So main function is not receiving any value from the sum function, but main function is transferring the value from its function to the called function, that is calling function to the called function. So this is the big difference between the functions not accepting and returning values and function accepting the values but not returning the values. So now we will elaborate all the programs related to the functions accepting the values but not returning by taking an example. Now we will take an example of write a program to enter two numbers and display their product using functions. So we will be using the second category of function, that is function accepting the values but not returning any values. So moving on to the program, so the program will start with hash include stdio.h, which is a general syntax of writing a program. Then as we know that in order to use a function we need to declare it. So let's say we are declaring int, or we can take the void also, because as the function is not returning any value, so we can take it as a void. So void, let's say we are taking product, so let's say I will take pro function and I have to accept two values. So let's say I am taking int p comma int q. So this is the declaration part of the function as we have discussed. So as we are dealing with the second category, that is function not returning any value, so whenever a function is not returning any value, we can consider it as a void. Next we will be moving to the main function, that is void main. So the program is written over here, write a program to enter two numbers. So we will enter the two numbers in main function and we will pass these two values to the sum function or the product function. The product function will calculate the product of the two numbers and it will display the result. So we have to take two numbers, let's say int a comma int b, or I can say that int a comma b, whatever you can write. Let's say I have written int a comma b. So I have to enter two numbers. So let's say I will give a message printf enter two numbers. Now I have to enter two numbers, so I can enter using scanf function. So as we have two numbers, so I have to take two format specifier, that is %d, because %d is the format specifier of int. So %a comma %b. So I have entered two numbers, that is a and b. Now I have to pass these values to the pro function that has been declared over here. So I will call the pro function and I will pass a comma b. So whenever I will call the pro function by taking these two values, so I have to define the pro function. So I can write pro, and as we are taking two variables over here, that is a and b, so we have to take two variables in order to accept the values of a and b. So let's say I will take int p comma int q. So I have taken two variables in order to hold the values of a and b. So a value will be stored in p and b value will be stored in q. So you must notice that as p and q are two variables, in order to accept these two variables, that is a and b, so it must also be denoted with the same data type as a and b has been declared. So as a and b are having int type, so it must also be initialized by int type. So a will be stored in p and b will be stored in q. Now I have to display their product. So as we have to calculate the product, let's say I will take int pr in order to calculate the product. So let's say pr equal to p into q and I have to print the pr value. So let's say printf \n product equal to %d pr. So I will close the pro function over here. So let's take an example over here. So I have taken int a and b. So let's say we have declared or we have initialized two variables, that is a and b. So we have to enter two numbers, the message has been given over here and it will be accepted by the scanf function. Let's say a has value 4 and b has value 3. So here we are calling the pro function and we are passing two values, that is a and b. That means 4 and 3 will be passed to pro function and it will be received by p and q. So here p and q will hold the value of a and b respectively. So that means 4 will be stored in p and 3 will be stored in q. Now it will enter the block of pro function and it will take another variable, that is pr. So as we are dealing with, or we have to calculate the product and we have to print it. So I have taken another variable in order to calculate the product of these two numbers. So let's say P into Q. So 4 into 3 is 12 and it will be stored in PR. So PR will have the value as 12. Now it will print product equal to, so it will print product equal to, so in place of format specified, that is in place of %d, it will print the value of PR. So what is the value of PR is over here? That is 12. So this is the output. That means we are accepting the value in the calling function. Here main function is the calling function, and who is the called function? Pro is the called function. So whenever we are taking some values in the calling function and we are transferring it to the called function, the called function will hold the value, it will calculate it and display the result. So it will be in the second category of the function. That means functions accepting the values but not returning the values. So this is all about entering two numbers and displaying their product using the second category of function. Now we have to take another example. Let's say we have to enter a character, an integer and a real number and display them randomly. So what do you mean by that? So I want to elaborate what is the sequence of function calling and what is the sequence of called function. So how we can pass the values and how we can receive the values and we can work accordingly. So let's take the program. So has include stdio.h. This is a general syntax of writing a program. Now I have to declare the functions. So in this program I will take a same function with different values. Let's say I will take display as a function, but it will have different accepting values. Let's say I will take void disp, let's say display. I will take character C, intn. I will take another display value or display function with intn, float p. Let's say I will take another display function with character C, float b, another display function with character C, float b, integer n. So you can see that I have taken 4 functions with the same name. So this is the main confusing part, but we will be elaborating it in the function. So now we will be moving to the main function. Let's say void main. So first of all I have to take a integer value. Let's say I will take int a. I have to take a character value, let's say ch, and I have to take a float value, that is, let's say p. So I have taken an integer, a character and a float, and I have to enter it. Let's say I will write printf enter a character, integer and float. So I have to work accordingly, that is scanf %c for character, %d for integer and %f for float, that is the variables that are for %c means first the character value, that is ch, that is %ch, then the integer value, that is %a and %p for float value. So we have taken a character, an integer and a float, and in this way we have accepted it in 3 variables, that is character, integer and float. So now we will be calling the function from the main function. So we can call it in different ways. Let function. So I will write disp. So here C and B. So let's say I have accepted the character in ch and I have to pass the value of floating point. So let's say I will transfer 2 values ch and p. Next I will call another display function with a and p, that means integer and float. So this one. So now I will call another display function, let's say disp, first one character and then integer, let's say ch and a, and another display function having first ch, then p and then a. So we have called 4 functions, and now we have to define it. So I will close the main function. Now I will move to first display function. So it is also not necessary that whatever functions we are calling in the sequence, it will be exactly in the same sequence in which we are defining. So let's change the format. So first one I will write, let's see, char ch, then float, let's say character C, float B, int n, and it will print the value printf %c, %f, %d, c, b, n. Now I will move to another display function. Let's say ch and p. So in place of ch and p means character and float. So where is the character and float over here? Here it is the character and float. So I will accept character C, comma float B. So it will print the value printf %c, %f, c, comma b. Now let's say we have already taken this one, and we have already taken the float value, that is p. Now I will take, let's say, this one. So let's say I will write display character ch, float, or integer type, that is n, let's say int n. Now it will print the value printf %c, %d, ch, comma n. Now another one, display. So we have taken already 3 things. Now we have taken 3 sequences, that is character float, character integer, character float integer. That means character float we have taken, character integer we have taken, character float and integer we have taken. Now I have to take integer and float. So display int n, float p, and I have to print it. So printf %d, %f, n, comma p. So you can see that I have declared 4 functions with the same name, that is display, disp. So this is a confusing one, but we will go serially. So I have taken the same name because lots of students have a doubt that we have the same name and how to call a function, and they get confused. So here you can see that in the first display function I have taken one character value and integer value. In the second part I have taken an integer value and a float value. In third part I have taken a character and a float. In fourth I have taken character, float and integer. So the calling function will be exactly same as the called function. That means the called function will have the same format in which the value has been passed. So let's say I have taken 3 values. So in A, let's say A is an integer type, ch is a character type, and p is a float type. Let's say I have entered 10 in A, z in ch, and 4.3 in float value. Now you can see that I have called 4 functions. So first category is display, that is ch and p. So the first function is that we are calling display function with ch and p. So as ch is character type and p is float type, so it will search for the display function which has the same sequence. That is, here we have taken 4 display functions, but it will move to this part because the first part is character type and the second part is float type. So it will come over here. So c will hold the value of ch and b will hold the value of p. That means here it will print c and b. So c will receive the value, here I can see that c will receive the value z because it is holding the value of ch, and p will have the value as 4.3. Now it will print the value of c and b, that is z 4.3 will be the first answer. Next, after printing it, when it will come to this curly bracket, it will be encountered to the second display function. So you can see that the second display part will have a and p. So a is integer type and p is floating type. So it will search for the display function which will have first integer and float. So you can see that the first integer part is here and float is the second part. So it will move to this display function. So n will receive the value of a and p will receive the value of p. So here 10 will be stored in a and 4.3 will be stored in p. Now it will print the value of n and p. So it will print 10 4.3. So this is the second output. So after completing it, when it will come to this curly bracket, it will be redirected to the third display function. So the third display function will have two values, that is ch and a. So ch is having character value and a is having integer value. So it will search for the function which will have the first one as character value and the second one as integer value. So among all the functions, this display function carries the first part as character and the second part as integer. So it will be redirected to here. So ch will hold the value and n will hold the value. So ch will hold the value of ch and n will hold the value of a, that is z and 10. So z will be stored in ch and 10 will be stored in n. So it will print the value of ch and n, that is z10 will be the third output. Now when it will come to this curly bracket, it will be redirected to the fourth display function. So the fourth display function will have three values, that is ch, p and a. So it will search for the display function which have three parameters. So here you can see that this function has three parameters, and it is also needed that it will be in the same format as the value has been passed. So the first part will be character, second part will be float, third part will be integer. Otherwise it will not receive the value. So it will be redirected to this called function. So c will hold the value of ch, that is z, b will hold the value of float type, that is 4.3, and n will receive the value of a. So n will have 10. Now it will enter the block and it will print the value of c, b and n. So what is the value of c, b and n? So z 4.3, 10 will be the last output. So when it will come to this curly bracket, it will be redirected to this position, and then we will have the end curly bracket of main function. So here in this function or this program, you can see that I have taken 4 functions with the same name with different parameters, and according to that those functions will be called. So it is not necessary that I am writing display functions means or I cannot write another display function. So the same display function can be called another time with some other parameter. So whenever we are calling the function with some parameter, so the called function must hold the same value as we are passing the values. So the called function will exactly hold the value as it has been passed. So here you can see I have passed different types of values of different data types, and I have also declared different display functions with different data types and different orders, and those values will hold these values and it will be performed accordingly. So this is all about entering a character, an integer, a real value, and we can print them randomly. I hope you have all understood what is the second category of function, that means function accepting the values but not returning any values. So if you have any doubt, you can comment me on our YouTube channel. Till then, thank you.